Hello, welcome back to Heretic Owl Tarot. My name is Liz, and I will be guiding you on this journey today. This is a reading for Leo, wherever Leo falls for you. Definitely be sure to check out your human design profile reading too. All of those are already up. I think I'm just down to the last handful of zodiac sign readings. But it's just like not every Leo is a 1-3 or 2-5 or whatever, right? So just an additional source of information. So definitely check those out. And if you don't know what your human design profile is, I have a link in the description of those videos for you to get your human design body graph, or of course you can just Google human design chart and use one of those links. So let's get you an oracle card, and then of course we'll get your tarot cards out. That's cool. Protection. Call back your power. Cut the cords. Soul retrieval. It's interesting, there's this eclipse here, which we just had, right? In Aries, what was that, like 2 weeks ago or so? A little less than that. Interesting. Maybe something happened around then. We have the Two of Cups, the Nine of Cups, the King of Wands, Hanged Man, the Lovers. It's too many. And then the Star card. All of the bottom cards are major arcana. I know, like, I'm not doing the overhead view this time around because my table is a mess. I do like freelance work too, and it's a mess. So I didn't want you guys to see that. That's why I'm not doing the overhead view. But all of the cards on the bottom are major arcana: the Hanged Man, the Lovers, the Star card. We also even have the King of Wands and the Queen of Wands out here. So that's interesting. The World card, Six of Wands. I mean, this definitely could have to do with like the impact that relationships have had or are having on you in some capacity. Let's see, let me find this protection card. All right, it says, you are being called to protect your energy and call back your power. May all the lost pieces return home now. Take a look at who and what drains your energy. Do not keep your tabs open. Shut down energetically each night. Energetic cords are formed between people, places, objects, and events. And so it's important to keep checking in. Your energy and energetic space are sacred, so treat them as such. Keeping your energy clear takes work. As we go through life, we can give away our power. So it is important that we call it back by cutting energy cords or doing some form of healing known as soul retrieval. Can you think of a traumatic event, relationship, or soul memory that you are being called to call back your power from? Check into your body. Check into your body now and see which chakra feels like it needs a bit of energetic cleanup. The Work Your Light activation says, I call back any lost fragments, power, or light now. Any vows, soul contracts, hexes, or programs from the past or present, from this life or others that are not in the highest good of all, I relinquish now. Any power or light that I have willingly or unwillingly given away or had taken from me, I call back now. Any cords or attachments from this life or others, I release now for the highest good of all. And so it is, and so it is, and so it is. Yeah, I mean, I can see how that is going to play out in this reading for sure. And of course too, right? I mean, relationships can be romantic, platonic, business. It could be a relationship with your family. It could be even your relationship with yourself, right? I feel like there's, also many different ways of cutting cords. I mean, you can literally imagine, scissors cutting cords. You can use your hands and just kind of make, like chopping movements and set the intention that obviously, you are cutting away those cords. uh, I didn't really like that idea when I first heard it because I just didn't like the idea of like potentially these little phalanges still being out there that could like reconnect to either that same person, feeling, energy, situation, experience, whatever. So I did this exercise one time with a person. It was an ex of mine, and I was laying in bed, and I kind of called up this ball, and I had my hands like this. I'm laying down, right? So I had my hands like I was holding onto a ball, and I imagined that there was this imaginary, ball. And I was calling back my energy. So I would envision this white, and I just put the color white on it. It can be any color that you want, but I imagine this white, energy coming back and filling this ball. So any place that me and him had been together, any place that we visited, any cars that we were in together, any apartments or homes that we were in together, movie theaters, restaurants, right? I mean, like literally planes, because we traveled once together. Anything, like animals, we each had a dog, and they both had passed, but still, like anything that I could literally think of, I was just imagining my energy flying back into this ball. And as it was, I let my hands get bigger, like the ball was growing. And I just sat in that type of meditation, because eventually I was just like, anything else that I can't think of or that I didn't mention, if there's any of my energy stuck anywhere in the past with him, with, experiences that we had, just setting the intention for that energy to come back. And the ball kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And eventually it did feel complete. So then I set the intention to clear and cleanse that energy of anything that was remaining between me and him, anything that was stuck or stagnant, or again, was not for the highest good of all. And I set the intention for, and I kind of like cracked it, or, and I'm doing all this with my hands too. I kind of like cracked it like it was an egg and just allowed it to recalibrate and like reabsorb into me. It's my fucking energy. So I set the intention that whatever I needed I was going to receive back, and whatever I didn't need to, allow it to be available in the ethers for whoever did need it whenever they needed it, right? So that was only one part. The second part, I imagined a second ball, and I called all of his energy out of me. So and it was crazy because, my skin started tingling, and, I could feel just energy coming out of me. And again, I set his color as brown, like shit brown. But I imagined the energy, or the ball, getting bigger and bigger and bigger. It wasn't like as big as mine, but I allowed it to get bigger and bigger as his energy was coming out of me, like coming out of everywhere. Okay. Um, I allowed it to get bigger, and I also imagined that there was a cord, or like a plug attached to me. So, I had this ball, there was almost like an umbilical cord attached to me. And once I felt like, after a couple minutes, however long it was, that I felt all of his energy was out of me, like from my head, like just my body in places, all of the things, right? So I have this ball, and again, cleansing it, setting the intention for it to go back to him if he wants it, or to be available in the ethers for whoever needs it. And then I literally imagined that plug coming out of me, like representing cutting the cord. It's no longer plugged in. And I like imagine just chucking it towards him, right? Wherever he was. I didn't know like where, he was, but it would find him. It's his energy, right? So I just imagined throwing it out there, and And then I literally, I physically, like on my skin, like on my abdomen, I, um, like I brushed my hand over where that plug was, just to, again, even represent just covering it up. Like there's no access to be plugged back in to me. And I shit you not, he called me the next day out of the blue. I hadn't talked to him in years. And he called me out of the blue. And I answered because I did that um, meditation, that clearing the day before, because I was kind of curious. And at some point I was like, why are you calling me? And he's like, I don't know, I woke up with this like crazy urge to call you. And I told him about the thing that I did. And he was like, wow, that's crazy. And I'm like, I know. So don't call again. And he didn't. He did show up at my house randomly a few years later, but um, even that didn't last very long. He was like literally here for 2 minutes before I was like, okay, bye. Anyway, so let's get into your reading. I was just saying that, like, in a way, like cutting cords, there's many ways to do it, like, so do, whatever resonates for you. Okay. So we start with the Two of Cups. Cups have to do with our emotions, how we feel, how we love, how we receive and give it. It's our heart chakra, right? And the Two of Cups is shared values. There's something, it's sharing something. We have these two hands, we have these two cups, both of these hands are pouring into said cups. So it's very equal. It's not like 90-10, 70-30. Like what you are putting out, you're also receiving, right? So it's the love that you're getting back. And it's also even somebody who is capable of even doing that. You both show up with your full cups. You're both able to pour from a full cup. You're both able to fill each other's cups. So with, this card, I mean, maybe you have felt an imbalance with that in some capacity, whether it was energetic or, feeling like you were giving too much. Where now all of a sudden I feel like all of a sudden I have forgotten everything. 104. People, places, objects, and events. We give away our power, so it's important that we call it back by cutting energetic cords. Even soul retrieval. If you like the shamanic soul journeys, that could be something that you look into. Like it's a whole thing, like where the shaman goes on this journey to retrieve an aspect of your soul. If there is something that was hugely traumatic in your past, and and if it was something that zapped your energy and it got stuck there, you could even get help from somebody, to do that. So it's interesting that it's paired with the Hanged Man, which is being in suspension. It's also the willful suspension. They don't look like they're in any type of distress. This is delay sometimes. It's seeing things from a different perspective. It could even be looking at relationships differently, showing up in relationships differently. There's these rune symbols down here. If you want to, take a screenshot of that and look them up. I actually do have like a book of runes here. And maybe I'll write down what the runes are in the description if you want to look them up. I would read them for you, but I feel like that would take forever. I don't know how much time you have. Let me just make a note. I'll put it in a comment because it'd probably be easier that way. But yeah, I'll write the names of the runes, and if you want to look into them, you can, because no doubt there's a message in them for you. But again, you know, it's willful suspension. It's allowing yourself to see things from a different perspective. Even, you know, where the sunburst is, it's this like breakthrough, realization, or change of perspective, I think I've already mentioned. And it could have to do with either a previous relationship, a relationship that you're in, if you have, you know, if you're making relationships a priority. You know, it's not wanting to like repeat um, patterns or behaviors in prior relationships. It could even be, you know, hoping to find a relationship where it's more equal, as far as, you know, both parties being equally invested and filling each other's cups, and of course their own, because truly, right, I mean, we can't be expected to be the sole source of somebody else's cup filling. They have to do that themselves. We have to do that ourselves, right? And then we move on to the Nine of Cups, which is wish fulfillment, your desires being met. Nines are individual completion. So this is you feeling like your dreams are coming true, your desires being met, you feeling purposeful. That could be what I literally just said, is about filling your own cup. I mean, like, you literally would need to feel this way about yourself, about your life, about love, even before you can even recognize somebody who would also be in the same frequency or vibration, or feel the same about themselves. And it's interesting that it's then paired with the Lovers card, which is Gemini. Again, you know, I keep hearing like real recognizes real, right? I mean, like, you know, the Lovers card, of course, literally, if you wanted to go by the literal word lovers, it can represent relationship. And with it being a major arcana card, then it's definitely like soul guided, or positive as far as relationships go. But it's more also about choices. It's about the masculine and feminine energy, and just and the dance that the masculine and feminine do to create balance. So the yin and yang, right? I mean, finding the yin to your yang, or whatever. But it's, you know, it's the feminine flow, nurturing intuition, with the masculine, you know, initiating audacity, go getting. And again, this could be something, it's paired with the Nine of Cups. So this could be something, a balance that you are finding within yourself. This could also even be recognizing the type of relationship that you do want to call into your life. And you know, there's a symbol here in white. It's the triskiel, I believe is what it's called. It's the three spirals, and that represents birth, life, death. But it's, you know, the cycle, it's a complete cycle of something beginning, the middle part of living in it, and the end part of it dying. Which, of course, we're not speaking of literal death, but just, you know, the cyclical nature of things. So again, if this has been a pattern that you've been in with relationships, and again, it can be romantic, platonic, like your friends, the type of friends that you meet. It could be, you know, the type of jobs that you get. It could be even a dynamic within your family, your culture, your society, right? Like, this would be saying that there's something that you recognize, right, is not healthy, it's not working, it's only caused harm in some capacity, whether that's, you know, emotional, because we do have a lot of water out here. And you're like, I don't want to keep approaching things this way. I don't want to keep attracting relationships that are like this. So it, you know, I do have to view relationships differently. I have to even, you know, heal myself, view myself differently, because truly it does really start with you. And at the end of every RuPaul's Drag Race, RuPaul says, if you can't love yourself, how in the hell are you going to love somebody else? Can I get an amen? And truly, like, you cannot You cannot love somebody from a space that like if you have no capacity to love yourself. It's, and even if you were trying, then, there's an expectation, there's strings attached to that. And vice versa, like if somebody is, trying to or loving us in a certain way that they don't give themselves the same love, energetically, it doesn't work. It's not authentic. There is an expectation attached to it because they expect that if they quote unquote love you in a certain way, you are going to act, you're going to reciprocate in a way that you're not even aware of, because they have this expectation that comes from, their own wounding. And again, that can be you too. And then we have the King of Wands, which is technically Sagittarius, but we have this lion back here, which is, usually the symbolism of Leo, right? Wands are action, the motivation behind the actions that we take, creativity, passion. It could definitely be sexual energy too. Kings are the highest expression of the suit. I also see wands as being information by way of experience, because that's what we get by trying things, right? We figure out what works, what doesn't work, what do we like, what don't we like, what stays, what goes. And really, the only way to figure that out is by trying, by taking action towards something. We can't really think our way through stuff like that. So again, kings are the highest expression of the suit. So this is somebody who has been through all the way from the Ace of Wands up to the King, right? So they've had a lot of experiences. They've tried a lot of different things. There's a lot of wisdom with the King of Wands, kings in general. They oversee a kingdom, so people look to them as an authority figure, as a leader, for guidance. I also, the King of Wands is like the entrepreneur of the tarot too, because like they have to have creative freedom. They're not going to, fit into like a 9 to 5 box. So even if we're talking relationships, for one, this is being accountable for your actions. It's being purposeful in your actions also, because, the king, again, they are responsible for the health, the ongoing, the protection, whatever of their kingdom. So again, being accountable for your actions, being purposeful in your actions, it's acting out of experience as well. But this could even just be like a unique path. It's also interesting. So we have this lion back here, right? And it feels like to me in this card specifically through these readings, because this has come out a few times, and it does feel that way with this reading too. But so, it almost kind of feels like you are being inched forward, because it's not like you're just gonna like be like, you know what, never mind. I don't really want to follow this path anymore. I'm just gonna turn around. And then there's this lion here that's like, are you? Are you gonna turn around? Like, you have to go through me to go backwards, right? And it's like, yeah, right. Going up against a lion. Even of course too, like the representation of the lion being the king of the pack, right? Like the protector, the overseer, the procreator, I guess too, right? They keep their lineage going. The strongest is the one that becomes the leader. So that's interesting. Through this journey here, again, like there's something that is becoming clear for you. And even, some level of growth in some capacity. That's paired with the star card, which is our hopes, our dreams, what we are wishing for. So we have the wish fulfillment card with the star card. This is Aquarius, faith, hope. I see the star card as being like that space between the 5D where we co-create, where we manifest the things that we are, then where she is, where we are in the 3D. So it's like literally that space between is where stars live, right? And it's, bringing those two things together. So it's almost like by becoming this King of Wands, which again, I keep getting this big feeling about accountability, really being accountable for your part in this process. Like, where have you allowed your boundaries to be crossed? Like, where have you maybe not been in your own integrity? um it's all of those things, especially if it's something that you do want a healthy, balanced relationship. And this card to me says that it's possible. This card also says to me that there's still some work in clarifying what that is, like really honing in on what star do you want to wrangle, what star do you want to lasso, right? And then we have the Queen of Wands at the bottom of the deck. So, like I said, it's interesting. We have the King and the Queen of Wands, and the Lover's card, and the Two of Cups. I mean, the odds, crazy odds. Like, so all things Wands that I've already talked about. Queens are when we embody the energy of the suit within ourselves. We recognize it, we master it. I mean, we can see that they're holding this flame in their hand. So there's this level of like accomplishment. It could be even discovering what excites you, what lights you up, what makes you feel good. There's this excitement here. I mean, it really is about, like, this whole reading too has also been a lot of you, like, pour into yourself, right? Like, I mean, discover what this is. What do you enjoy doing? What does light you up as a Leo who is ruled by the sun, right? Like, what do you even want to be illuminated by? Like, I'm thinking sun is like spotlight to, I mean, even, the sun is the star, but what do you want to be known for? How do you want to express yourself even? And this is like expressing yourself authentically, because even then, right, like truly, the right person, if you are expressing yourself authentically and confidently, right, because it's like you recognize this fire within yourself. And instead of being cool, calm, and collected, or mysterious, or whatever it is, right, you express yourself authentically, you figure out what that is, and you confidently stand in that. Then the right person would be attracted to that, and they would be attracted to that because they are also expressing themselves authentically. So it's like, even, where was it, the Lover's card, when I was saying real recognizes real, like, you're not meeting somebody's mask or their facade or whatever, hat or act that they're putting on, you included, right? You're expressing yourself truly, so that somebody else who is also in their true expression would see that. And you have two authentic beings being real people, not an act, not a facade. That's gorgeous. And then we have the six of, or the well, we do have the Six of Wands, but before that we have the World card. This feels even too about like getting exactly what you want, like feeling like you have the world in your hands, even feeling like on top of the world, like that type of feeling. The World card does represent the end of a cycle. So, I mean, it could be the end of, dead end relationships, dead end jobs, not feeling recognized by your peers, by your family. There's definitely something that, in speaking of recognition, we have the Six of Wands. And I mean, look at, they're standing on a stage, there's people clapping. This is a card about recognition, success, victory. But it's victory after conflict, after, kind of a tumultuous journey from the Five of Wands, even though I know we don't have that on the table, but there is, success here. I love that for you. Thank you so much for taking me on this journey. I'm so excited. I'll talk to you later. Bye.